There's a lot. What do you do when it comes to something as simple as asking for help? Consistency, right? Right. So, as always, we're going to start with our writing prompt from last week. So, last week's writing prompt was out of things to say. I walked into the room. Silence. Heads turn. I feel the frog in my throat. The frog turns to Kermit. I smile, the room erupts. A buzz, laughter, stories, pats on the back. My ears numb. I wonder if this is a panic attack. The room focuses this time. I'm telling a joke. It works. They smile. I sit, take a sip, exhale. Now I'm calm. Weird. Now it's breathing. What the hell was the first 15 minutes about? The room is alive, an ocean filled with life. Pause. You see the bait. You watch the fisherman. You watch the fish. You see the idea in the fish's mind. Silly fish. Caught. But the fisherman doesn't realize. The fish pulls the line. The fisherman is distracted by the glass in his hand. The fish shakes the hook loose. The rod falls. The fisherman trapped by the one that got away. On to the next piece of bait for the fish. Back to reality. I'm in a conversation about what's scarier, death or divorce. How did I start a conversation while I was watching the ocean? The room falls quiet. Heads turn. Face me. Eyes soft. I got nothing. My biggest fear, I guess I'm out of things to say. So yeah, how we start a podcast episode about me being out of things to say. But yeah, that was really fun to write. Um, but as always, we never talking about it. We just moving on. How you been? How's it been? How's the week been? What have you guys been up to? You been having fun? Uh, Not so much, yeah. My favorite part about this is I never have to only focus on the good stuff. Normally, when people ask you, how are you? What are you up to? How have you been? They want to know the good stuff. Here, I don't need to say the good stuff. I can focus on the not like the in between stuff, the stuff that doesn't make sense slash bad stuff. But um, the lessons are not lessening. The teachings are not teaching. The patience is not patiencing. The trust is not trusting. Those types of things. Um, I have gotten used to being quiet. Is bad. Is bad. Bad. It's not good. Um, I think I'm expected to say stuff, more stuff. I used to say a lot more stuff, but now I don't, and I think it's a little bit confusing to a lot of people. I have no idea why. I still don't fully understand. Could be time of year. There's a couple of things I thought of that I could be responding to, being triggered by, considering those types of things, stuff like what I spoke about in the previous episode. But I don't know, man. It's difficult to it's difficult to have to find a way to hold capacity for people to understand something that I myself don't understand. It's a little bit weird, you know? But it's okay. It's okay. It happens. And we are moving forward. At the end of the day, life has to move in that forward trajectory. There's nothing we can do about it. Time only goes well. We experience time moving forward, so I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm not ready to get into the whole time is linear conversation, but there's mm, there's a certain sense of how much perseverance do I have? Am I capable of experiencing? Am I willing to put forth whatever way that you need to talk about that word? Because yeah, people seem to swap resilience and perseverance fairly easily, and I don't think they're the same thing. Not at all. And it breaks my heart to understand that there are resilient people that shouldn't be, and there are people that do not think that they will persevere, but they will. And for different reasons, it breaks my heart. It's not even the same. It's not even the same type of sad, you know. Um, I think I want to try and see if there is a way to do more than talking. And I don't know yet fully what that means, but you know, I recently caught myself watching Beast Games, and man, oh man, what an interesting character! What an interesting character Mr. Beast is. You know, I don't know him well enough to call him by his first name. Even though I know what it is, I think I'm I think I'm dumbfounded. I think I'm actually awestruck. It's quite impressive to see, to experience, to have a track record self-created to experience. You know, that type of thing. But there's a profound. mm, I'm impressed. I don't have another word. It's just impressive. Like to see it, and oh, to see what's happening, what's been happening is just, it's actually mind blowing to me, and it makes me question, wonder, curious, ambitious. You know, all of those things about this, and it's both nerve wracking and exciting at the same time. Um, yeah, but we're gonna see where it goes, right? Unstoppable stuff. But when when one when one feels, and when one is having a feeling, but a different sensation is being felt in the world, who is it that you turn into? How is it that you are? You know, that type of silly question. And the reason I'm asking it is because I think I'm a bit of a bad person. You know, if I'm looking at it, there's a different word that I want to use that's a little bit meaner, but for lack of bleeping, there's that. But I think I'm a bit of a bad person because I can see, or I'm looking at it differently, and it's a terrible picture. And also, once an artist has painted something, who am I, to say that that's the wrong step? But it's only up until the paint stroke is committed, done, that it has any level of importance or value. And I think, to me, that's kind of been what I've been trying to stop, hinder, maybe get in the way of sometimes, because I've experienced something that looks like the type of failing I've been experiencing. Let me say it like that. It's familiar. It's not special. It's not unique. It's similar to something I've already experienced. But the way that it shows its head is different. The way that the lesson circles around, the way the universe teaches the lesson, whatever, the leveling up so that I can learn it better, whatever that's going to be. Um, I think it's bad course material, eh? I think the universe needs to update its curriculum because, man, we can't. There's certain things that I don't think should be lessons. I'm very frustrated by how surface, silly, superficial some of the teachers that are giving me the lessons that I'm taking from what it is that I'm experiencing. It's weird. I don't like it. I'm not a fan. Um, Maybe I'm a snob for learning. Maybe this is why self-taught is easier for me. But I digress. Um, I wonder. I wonder if there's a way, there's a manner, if there's a form that when we learn to solidify. I've only learned naps. Out of everything that I learned about studying, the only thing that I learned that actually worked for me was after you study, in order to lock the information from short term memory to long term memory, you need to take a nap of 20 minutes or less. I think. We used to do coffee naps. That was the recommendation that I got. And it worked. Like if I studied and I had coffee, I remember the information better for a longer period of time, to the point where I still remember a lot of what it is that I studied now, a decade and some change later, right? So I wonder if I had to now pick the lessons that I'm learning with the teachers that I'm learning them from, and I took a nap, I wonder if I'd immortalize the wrong thing. And that's what worries me. That's the thing I'd be moving from short term to long term memory. That's actually what I'm questioning. I'm questioning if it's solidifying the wrong information or if it's teaching me better information. And that's up for nobody to decide but me. And that's why we're here. We're having a connection conversation, I think. But the reason that I say that is because it's also, yeah, I think it's difficult because there's a lot, man. There's a lot, there's a lot, there's a lot. What do you do when it comes to something as simple as asking for help? You know, I I had a couple of days where I was wrestling with just a simple thought. It's what do you expect when you ask for help? And for the first like day, 24 hours and some change, nothing was like the only thought that was in my head. And I couldn't tell if it was nothing because I don't expect help or because of the fact that I don't know what help looks like, or I don't know how to ask for the thing that I think would help me, even if I don't know if it will, type stuff. So again, back to me. Um, and realistically, I wonder if the lessons that I'm learning in my life currently are lessons that are helping. And I know it's a weird thing to put on another thing. It's a weird level of pressure to put on something. But there must be value in almost anything that it is that you do, because you are special because you are here, not because of what it is that you do, not because of who it is that you do it for. Right? Simple fact of life, that's acknowledged. Right? Now that we know that that's happened, because everybody's special, we think we aren't special, and so on and so forth. And 8 billion doesn't feel special, but it is still, nog steeds. But here we are, and we're going to carry on. And within the specialness that it is that we are communicating, that we are creating, that we bring to the world, we now have to take that specialness and share it with other people. And we can do that poorly, because you can do anything poorly. You can sweep poorly, you can mop poorly, you can make breakfast for yourself poorly. You can make Cocoa Pops or you can make an omelette. They require different levels of effort and they taste different, but they both pretty much do the same thing. That's people. People are Cocoa Pops and omelets. It is the choice and how it is that you decide to interact with who it is, what it is, how it is that you are interacting with the world as the world is interacting with you simultaneously. This is great and this is fun. But this can also suck, because this can be timing based, this can be lesson based, this can be what it is that you have experienced already, what it is that you would think you are supposed to be experiencing, and removing yourself from past, present, and future all at the same time, because you are all over the place at any given point. That kind of sounds a little bit counterproductive, in my opinion. Okay? So, see that, know that, learn that, take the lesson, apply it, do something with it. But then again, who am I? So, if the lesson is that I'm meant to be present, I'm meant to work towards a future, learn lessons from my past, the past circles back. The present becomes the future with both action and inaction because time progresses forward. And the future always feels like it's a day too far away without being the person that you expect yourself to be because you are not becoming that person in the present. Okay, so that sucks. Okay, take that, park that, put it in a lesson. You're going to carry it on because now we've built on top of the previous one. So you have to do the things that you want to do. You have to do the things that you know you need to do, but you need to do both of those things and do all of the normal life stuff because you're still a caveman or cavewoman at the end of the day. And the bare basics need to be achieved in order for you to be able to consider the top three layers of Maslow's pyramid. Sorry, I'm making lots of references to things that I haven't spoken about or touched on, and if you know it, you know it. If you don't, you don't. If you want to, you'll find out. We'll be okay. You come back on another episode and be like, this makes sense. This is something I looked into. And then you can teach me. And I'm game for that. I'm all about that. Um, so once you got your basic needs, once you got your security, and you've entered level 3 of the pyramid, you pretty much start focusing on yourself a little bit. So you become a bit of an AO because you need to, because now you learn selfishness and all of that. But you can get stuck. Simply, you can easily get stuck at that level because as long as you're at that level, the first two levels will be secure. You will have food and you will have security. And then you'll consider other things, and then you'll chase family and you'll chase all of those things. And then that will be put together. And then at some point, you change. Everyone does. Everyone will. But change is weird. Change is unpredictable, blah, 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 unexpected, blah, 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 outside of your comfort zone. All of those cliche things. So how do you take your lessons from your past, apply it to the present while doing the present thing that you need to do while considering the caveman? How do you be all of those things? I will say this, and it's got a little bit to do with what it is that we're talking about, but I don't think it's the answer. I used to think that telling the truth was the way to do all of those things because it would be less exhausting and you wouldn't have to remember any facades or falseness in the way that you interact with the people that you interact with. But that also irritates people because you might be a very bad truth teller, you know? It can be harsh, it can be vindictive, it can be a little bit hurtful, which I've noticed that a lot of people's truth tends to be. Or people don't take you seriously and then truth is just kind of ignored. So there's like those two kind of gaps. It's weird, man. Well, at this point we're not going to figure it out because my brain is kind of pulling a blank, but only because of the fact that the person that I am presently is the person I least know how to be. The person I'm going to be in the future is a person I've never met. The person that I was is the most defining because my experiences have etched me like marble and built a statue. The problem is a statue doesn't move. So presently, if I'm a statue, I'm stuck. And that speaks to exactly what I just spoke about. See? Genius analogies to make sense of things that don't make sense. Okay. Anyway, music Rex, right? So for music Rex this week, we are going to start with Grateful by Sylvan LeQ and Flo Callis. Okay. These names, man. Okay, this is a bit of an oldie. I'm going back a little bit. There's another old song I'm going to go back to probably next week, though. It is Down by Marion Hill featuring Big Sean. Um, I'm just gonna say it and put it in. Um, there's words that are gonna be problematic to say because of names, guys. Um, the next song is Your Pool Feels Like Gravity. I'm gonna say it wrong, okay? But I'm pretty sure this is not this person's name. I also think this is AI because I saw there's like two or three albums that are like back to back to back, which is not normal for a human being to do. Um, Orgasm, right? So that's the name of the group. And then Still Do by Ferreira. And then the last one for this week, I'm not going to speak on it. We're going to go right into the next thing immediately after I say it. Make Them Pay by Drake. Right. So, realistically, it's fun knowing that you stuck. It's fun knowing that you stuck. Okay. Because you're not moving backwards, which is pretty cool, right? Like as long as no one else is moving you backwards, you aren't moving backwards. Um, you could be sinking depending on what kind of terrain you're on, so that's maybe something to be a little bit mindful of. I don't think I'm sinking, but what would the sensation best be described as? Hmm. Okay, I'm not sinking, but I definitely, because I don't need oxygen because I'm a statue, I definitely do feel as though I'm probably in a little bit of like a desert situation where the sand maybe covers me sometimes and no one knows I'm there, and then it blows away and then everyone's like, oh, there's a statue, like that type of thing. Um, but I don't think I'm seeing it. I just think sometimes I'm deeper than I'm supposed to be because there's a dune above me, that type of thing. And then other times I'm on the top of a dune, so it's fine. But that type of stuck is weird to me for the fact that I think I'm learning. I think the lesson I'm taking out of it, it's an easier way to speak on it, is that the things that I've already learned, I'm not applying them correctly, effectively, efficiently, well timed, patiently, whatever. There's millions of different words. And there are other things that I'm not supposed to be actioning, doing, saying, being that I am. Now, here's where the problem gets very fun. Okay? If the stuck is because, excuse me, the future version of myself that I'm becoming, I'm building myself towards, requires me to change, then maybe the statue is not a statue. Maybe the statue is a chrysalis. Okay? And I'm either going to come out a moth or a butterfly. And we're not kind of aware because I didn't even quite understand when I was a caterpillar type thing. So if the stuck is the chrysalis, then realistically, while I'm under the sand, I'm safe. Okay? Because nothing's in the, well, there's stuff that crawls in the sand, but we're gonna hope there's less things, and we're gonna be safe. And if we're safe, we wait until the moment where you need to emerge, and then at that point we can stress about the sand. Because stressing about the level of sand right now while we still like a mush in the chrysalis is a little bit, it doesn't make sense. It's counterproductive. We're wasting energy. Okay, so that's positive. That's motivational, kind of. So yeah, right. Final thing. It's a fun final thought for me to have before closing out. Ooh, okay. So this week's writing prompt is going to be a world where no one sleeps. Right? So, as always, it's been fun. Thank you so much for joining me this week. Stay curious, stay kind, stay connected. Keegan out.